So today we're going to be going over how to do the rock, paper, scissors data analysis lab. So it's going to be in the week 1 folder. Rock, paper, scissors data analysis is what you click on there. When you get there and open it up, you should see this. So this is what we're looking at. You should have up through 20 games and a nice sheet. That's where we're going to be doing our recording at. So what we're going to start first is you always start with the hypothesis. So the hypothesis or prediction. That answers the question above. The question is, in the game of rock, paper, scissors, which one is the best? That's what we're doing. Is it going to be rock, paper, or scissors? What is the best one to play? Now, in your prediction, please make sure it is a full sentence. So you can't, do not put rock, paper, scissors, just as like one word. Say, I think rock is going to be the best because, and give me a reason why. Okay, so make sure you put some effort into the hypothesis. Otherwise, you'll lose points on that. So what you're going to do is you're going to need to go through and play 20 games of rock, paper, scissors, whether that's with someone that was in class with you, or if you're doing this outside of class, someone at home. You need to play 20 games. When you play a game and there's a winner, you're going to record it in this table. If you tie when you play somebody, you're just going to replay the round until you have a winner. So let's say I play scissors first, and my opponent plays paper. So in this scenario, scissors beats paper. So in the winner column, you're going to write scissors. If I played again and I chose paper, say rock, rock, and my opponent chose paper, my opponent wins. So paper is the answer right there. And you're going to keep going and going and going and going and fill this all out. Okay? So as you go through and you complete your 20 games, it's going to total your results here. If you're watching this from my AA class, you're going to have to manually do this or learn how to have Google Sheets do it for you, which is something I'm going to teach you. So go ahead and, I'm just going to say that I played these games. Okay, so I'm going to just assume that I played them, and I'm going to fill in some pre-filled data that I already have. Okay, so when you're done, this is what your table should look like. Again, don't use what I have, play your own games, but I want to put this in just for the sake of being able to complete the rest of the lab. So what we're going to do is we are going to take a look at this data here. And we're going to do that by filling out this Google survey right here. So in this box here, you're going to click on this link, go there. In that survey, it's going to ask you how many times rock wins. So you're going to put this in. How many times paper wins, you're going to put that in. And how many times scissors wins, you're going to put that in. So after you do that, you're also going to put in how many times you won. You can determine which one you won by if the U column matches the one that shows up in the winner. All right, so for example, in this first one, rock was played, my opponent played paper. I did not win, so that does not count. So you need to go through and you need to count how many times you show up in the what you played and in the winner's box. So when those match, you're going to have a win for you. So I'm going to go through and count this real quick. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So out of the 20 games I played, I won 10. So I'm going to type that in this box here. Make sure you fill out the survey. It will generate a sheet for me that I'm going to use for the entire class data we're going to talk about later. So with this in mind, what we're going to do is you're going to do your win percentage. So your win percentage is out of the amount of games you played, how many times did you win? What's your win rate? Okay, so it's basically saying how good are you at rock, paper, scissors. So you get this by doing an average or dividing. So just like in math class or in school, if I gave you a 10-point quiz and you scored 7 points out of the 10, your grade would be a 70%. So you're going to do that here. Google Sheets can do all this stuff for you, so you can tell it to divide. So I'm going to start by clicking on this win percentage column. It's in column G, row 17. I'm going to start by hitting the equals key. When I do this, my box will turn white, and you should see an upside down bracket after it. It's waiting for you to put in math or a function that you're going to do next. Okay, so when you do that, you're now going to do some division. So you want to divide the number of wins you got by the total number of games you played. So click on the box above it where you got the times you won. It should say G16 in orange. Okay, so G16 is saying that it's in column G, row 16. Whatever number is in that box, the computer is going to use. The sign for division is slash. So you're going to type in slash, and then you're going to type in the total games you played. So you played a total of 20 games. So I'm going to type in 20. So it should say G16/20. When you hit enter, it's going to spit out a percent for you. So I won 50% of my games. So half the time I played, I won, half the time I lost. So this gives you an idea of how successful you were at rock, paper, scissors. Now that you have your win percentage, what we're going to do also is we're going to talk about our graphs. So for our graphs, it's a picture of the data. So if you just look at this data, it's kind of boring. You can't really tell what's going on, and you don't know what the overall trend is. So that's what Google Sheets is here for. If you didn't have this, it would be kind of difficult to do because you can't just look at it. So what I want you to do is you're going to start by hiding the data that you want to analyze. The question that we're trying to answer is which one is the best? So which one has the most wins? So we're going to highlight the winner column. So I'm going to click on winner, drag my mouse all the way down to the bottom, and let go. What you have that's super easy and nice for you is that you have this explore button. So on the bottom right corner of your screen, you have a button that says explore. Click on explore. You're going to come up and you're going to see a graph here. So you're going to see a couple graphs. I like the pie chart here because it's a nice colorful picture of what's going on, and it easily tells you what's happening. You could use a bar chart here, but I like the pie one. So you click and drag it and drop it where you want to insert it on the graph or on your data. And there it is. So now you have a great visual of your data. So it said rock won more than half the time, paper was next, and scissors barely won. So that's kind of interesting to see here, and it's a good way to look at your data through this. Right? If you're in my AA class, I'm going to want a graph of what you played, what your opponent played, and what the winner played. All right, so that way you can look at a little bit more data than this. But if you're in my general classes, just the graph of the winner is what we're going to do. So now that you have the graph, you have your win percentage, and you have your win table down here, I'm going to go ahead and make a claim, talk about my evidence, and state my reasoning. Now, in class, we're going to see our evidence as the entire class data. So I'm going to post that later, but you're going to see that it's the entire class data. So based on yours, you can see that you can make a claim, and a claim is just a statement about your data. Now make sure we always use complete sentences for all of these. So a claim is just a statement based on what you see, what one is the best. So in this data here, it is clear that rock is the best. So rock, so I would write rock is the best play. So that's just one sentence. Evidence. You're going to list your evidence. So here it's just straight up data, and you're not looking into the data, what it means or why. You're just stating the data as your evidence, kind of like evidence in court or the judicial system. Like how we normally think of it is, here is a picture of this person. Here is them at the scene. kind of thing. It's just evidence. You're not putting any spin on it. So evidence. You can just write rock 1, and you can reference your table down here. Rock 1 8 times, paper 5, scissors 2. Rock 1 8 times, scissors 1 5 times, and I had that backwards. Paper 1 and scissors 1 3 times. Overall, now talk about your graph. Rock 1 5% of the time, paper 35%, and scissors 10%. Now, all of that is just restating what's here and what's here. And the reason we're doing this is because when you do science and people do science in like real life, they don't expect you to read over the entire thing and summarize it for yourself. They're going to summarize it for you on what their findings are. So if it doesn't, also one thing to notice, if it doesn't fit inside there and it looks like it gets cut off, it doesn't, I can see it up here. So when I go to grade this, I'm going to click on the box and I'm going to see your entire answer up here on the top. So finally, what's your reasoning? This is where students struggle the most. You have to come up with a reason why rock won. So rock won more than half the time. So what you can say here is come up with a reason. Why? Why do you think it happened? And again, it's going to be hard because it's not going to be obvious, but you could say something like, when you make a fist with rock, it's easy to play. So that's why it got played the most. Or throwing scissors is the most fun one, or my opponent threw scissors a lot. Therefore, rock was the obvious play. And I noticed that. You can talk about that. You can restate out of all the winners, rock had a winning percentage of 55%. Kind of thing. You can restate that. So this is trying to convince me, the reader, why your reasoning backs up your claim based on your evidence. So this one's going to be a little tricky, all right? I'm going to be a little bit lenient on this at first, but I will get tough on this as the year goes on because I really want you guys to expand your thinking and come up with good ways to explain what you see in your data. And again, there's no wrong way to do it, especially when you're just learning. So just make sure you put effort into here and you'll be all good. Other than that, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully this helped if you were struggling, and turn it in. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and let me know.